Hey everybody, this is Damien from Studio Pro Musica once again. Today's video is on building a minor key blues using bass note passing tones, okay? Now, if you've not watched our previous video in this series called Building a Minor Key Blues Basic Structure, please watch that. In that video, we set forth the chords that we're going to use, the number of measure for each chord, and so forth, the basic structure. So please go ahead, if you haven't already, and watch Building a Minor Key Blues Basic Structure. I'm going to assume that you've seen it and that you're comfortable with everything in there. So as we move on, you might have noticed that there's not a lot of motion going on with our A minor blues. We've got 4 measures of A minor 7, 2 measures of D minor 7, 2 measures of A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5. I used an E7 flat 9, A minor 7, E7 sharp 9. There's my 12 measures, but there's not a lot of motion. Now, there's a lot of different ways that we can add motion. We can use different voicings of the same chord. We can add different chord substitutions. But in this video, we're focusing on adding bass note passing tones. And what is a passing tone? Very generally speaking, I like to call passing tones my between notes. The notes that can be found between one chord that you're currently on and the next chord that you're going to. So, for example, if I'm going from A to D, or in the case of our minor key blues, from A minor 7 to D minor 7, what are my between notes? Well, A, B, C would lead to D, just following the musical alphabet. And there are lots of different things you can do there, variations. You can use chromatics, you can utilize the C and the C sharp, for example. But we're going to keep it fairly basic to get things started, to get the ball rolling. Other passing tones you can use that tend to be very effective are built on the 5th tone of whatever chord you happen to be on. And you can utilize either the 5th and then either the 6th, the 7th, the flatted 7th, or the major 7th, whatever, depending on which chord you're going to. So for example, if you're on A minor 7, what's the 5th tone of A minor 7? A, B, C, D, E. So I can utilize the E. What's the 7th tone? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can utilize a G as well. Okay? And that's how I'm going to get things started with our minor key blues. I've got my A minor 7, okay? And I'm also going to do E, open E, low 6th string, G, E. Okay? And I'm going to do something like a few pickup notes to get me started. We've got a slow to mid-tempo minor key blues, so I'm going to go something like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay? And that works really well. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. I can repeat it because I've got 4 measures of A minor 7 to kind of add some motion to after all. So I can do it to get started, and I can repeat it in the sort of the middle of that sequence. Now I'm going to D minor 7. Well, I can precede the D minor 7 with its own 5th and 7th. What's the 5th tone of a D minor 7 chord? D, E, F, G, A. What's the 7th? D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So A and C. And I can do something like A, C, A, D. Okay? And I'm adding these, if you're keeping track at home, I'm adding these on the and of 3. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Okay, that's how I'm counting it. So right away, I kind of have the first 6 measures of my sequence where I've added a little bit of movement now through the use of these very simple bass note passing tones. So what's it sound like so far? Something like this. I'm going back to the A minor 7 chord. I can do the same. And again, there's some more motion now, some movement, and that's a good thing. I don't have to just use E and G, or correspondingly A, and C, I can, instead of going E, G, E, I can go E, G, G sharp. A common technique in both blues and jazz is to lead chromatically into the chord that we're going to. So I can go E, G, G sharp leading into the A minor 7. I can do A, C, C sharp leading into the D minor 7. That sounds kind of nice, going to the D minor 7. Okay, so those are a couple of good ideas to get me started. Maybe I don't want to kind of repeat this rhythmic motif. I think rhythmic motifs are great. They really tend to glue a sequence together. But if you're finding yourself getting a little tired of it, maybe when I'm transitioning from A minor 7 to D minor 7, I don't want to do or. Maybe I want to add a more identifiable bass note melody. Well, again, think about your between notes. What's between A minor 7 and D minor 7? We've got the B and the C. Maybe I could go A minor 7, B, C, D. And for that matter, maybe even B, C, C sharp. Okay, that can work really well. How would I fit it in? So many different ways. I mentioned earlier that I'm putting those three notes, A, C, A, what have you, on the upbeat of 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, with landing on the chord being 1. But maybe I'll devote a whole measure to my passing tones, and I can simply use quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, next chord. I could do something like A, B, C, C sharp, D. How would that sound in context? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start my sequence off with, when I get to the transitional measure, measure number 4, where I'm still on A minor 7, but I'm going to the D minor 7 for measure number 5, I'm going to add those quarter note passing tones, A, B, C, C sharp. Let's see how that sounds. And it sounds pretty nice. I can do other things. Instead of going A, B, C, C sharp, I can do A, B, C, E, D. And if I really want to add a little bit more of a jazzy feel, I can go A, B, C, E, E flat, D. I mentioned how in a lot of blues and jazz we lead chromatically into a chord. There's a pretty good example of it, and I really like that sound. Now, of course, my passing tones aren't limited to just the 1 and the 4 chord, the A minor 7 and the D minor 7. Lots of other things you could do from your 2 chord, your B minor 7 flat 5. Maybe you go B, remember my 2 chord in this sequence is leading to my 5 chord. B minor 7 flat 5 is leading to E7, or maybe E7 flat 9 in this case. So what are my between notes? How about I could go from B to C to D sharp to E. So it would sound like, and then B, C, D, D sharp, and we could go to E7 flat 9 or E7 sharp 9, leading back to the A minor 7, okay? There are a lot of different things you can do, but you want to think about fitting them in so that it's rhythmic. I emphasized and 4 and 1 coming in on the upbeat of 3, or maybe an entire measure, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. and so forth. I've got just one measure of this B minor 7 flat 5 leading to the E7, so maybe I just go 1, strum the chord on 1, put bass note passing tones on 2, 3, 4. Something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And that can sound kind of nice as well. Okay? You don't want to overdo it. Use them tastefully, but experiment, see where you can fit them in. Focus on the between notes. Focus also on maybe adding a chromatic note leading into the next chord, and just try a lot of different things. Keep it rhythmic, keep it tasteful, of course. Okay? So I'm going to play through, add some will work, some will not, but we'll see how it all sounds. Again, no chord substitutions, no different voicings, just keeping things fairly vanilla, but adding the bass note passing tones. Here we go. 2, 3. Definitely added some motion, okay? As always, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments section. I love to hear from you. If you have not yet subscribed to Studio Pro Musica, please do so, okay? There's lots of great material here and lots more coming out. I don't want you to miss anything, okay? Again, thanks, take care, and thanks for watching Studio Pro Musica on YouTube.